Frag Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Frag Tag Radio. Here with you today is your boy Pradius. And first of all, I want to get those plugs out there. Appy Gamer, Appy makes you happy. You can catch that on Android, iOS, and Windows. Great app, free. Get all your news sources in one place, as well as gaming news and reviews by News Fusion, another great news app. And then, of course, Game On. Shouts to Troy on iOS and Windows Phone as well. So pretty much all of them, great news sources, apps free that you can download, keep up with all your latest gaming news. And, of course, Frag Tag Radio is on there. So, I mean, no point not checking it out. Of course, you can always catch us at fragtagradio.com, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TuneIn, Stitcher, iTunes, wherever. And with that, so we will just get into the show. A little bit of a few things I wanted to run down. First of all, Final Fantasy 15 has been delayed to November 29th. So I believe that was supposed to come out in just a month or so from now. I think September, was it? But yeah, so that's been pushed back to November 29th. Pretty much right up on December there. So if you're looking forward to that, you got, a little bit more time to wait. The season pass for that was detailed recently this week with 6 different DLCs. One of them was like a full-fledged expansion. A couple of them were character-based story stuffs, and then some cosmetic stuff. So a little bit of everything thrown in there. Secondly, Halo Wars 2. Of course, we had that week-long beta during the week of E3, and now they have announced there's going to be a second beta towards the beginning of 2017 next year. So hopefully we can look forward to that sometime in January, February. It's supposed to have a lot of improvements. I know that the troops have been broadened, bigger packs moving together, and a bunch of different improvements that they made, based on feedback that they got from the first beta. So if you enjoyed the first beta, I'm sure you'll enjoy the second one. And if you never got a chance to check out the first beta, I believe this one will be available to everyone on Xbox. So being a good time to get around and check it out, before the full game launches next year. And then Xbox One actually outsold the PlayStation 4 this past month in July, which is, I believe, the first time Xbox One has outsold PlayStation 4 since October of last year or somewhere in there. It's been a while. So, and what's really interesting is that this is the month before the new Xbox One Slim or S actually came out. So these were actually just the old Xbox One selling. I'm sure it has something to do with the price dropping that month by $50. So, it was a little bit cheaper, and then a lot of retailers were offering really good deals to try and get rid of stock of the old Xbox Ones with the Slim coming out. And then I think we've reached that point in the generation where everybody who, wants to buy a certain console probably most likely already bought an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, and now they're looking to get a second console to supplement that for the second half of this generation. And we'll see a lot of people who currently own PlayStations buying Xbox Ones, and probably vice versa as well. But since there are almost double the amount of PS4s out there, that's going to almost double the amount of Xbox One sales in the long run, I believe. But, don't get me wrong, there are, of course, the hardcore Sony boys that'll just, never pick up an XB1, and, vice versa as well. But, I think we're going to slowly see things start to even out. Obviously, it'll be probably the end of this generation before the consoles get back to being neck and neck in sales, if they even do. It's actually pretty likely that Sony could end up winning this generation, if this generation even ends, because we get to the point now where we've got things like not just the slim version of the consoles coming out, but Xbox Scorpio coming out next year, which is going to be that 6 teraflop monster powerful console. And then PlayStation is actually Sony getting to announce the PlayStation 4 Neo at this special event PlayStation meeting on September 7th. So both of them are supposed to be 4K gaming machines, so that should be interesting. And then back to the Xbox One S, the Slim that just came out. That actually is the launch edition of the console. The 2 terabyte launch edition is completely sold out now. So if you're looking to get one, you'll have to wait for the 1 terabyte or the 500 gig one to come out. And the Xbox One S Digital Foundry did some looking into that with the specs and whatnot, and it actually does improve the frames per second on a lot of games. Games where the frame rate is unlocked, or games that were locked at 30 frames per second but were dipping down to 20 are now holding at a solid 30. Things like that. So that's pretty cool. Also, Microsoft just recently this past week bought the live streaming company called Beam, which is similar to Twitch, but it's a lot more interactive in that the people viewing on the channel can actually input commands and interact with the game that the streamer is streaming, which is pretty cool. It'd be interesting to see how they integrate that with the Xbox One ecosystem over Xbox Live. And just like the PlayStation has PSX every year, I believe they're supposed to have a Xbox type event, something similar to PSX, probably later on this fall. I know Phil Spencer has said that there's a lot of things that they still have to announce this fall / winter, before the year's over, and that they'd like to do it at some type of event like that. So it's very possible we'll have an event similar to that coming along. And then next up would be that No Man's Sky just came out this past week, and it was hyped up for the last few years. Super, super, super hyped up. Everybody thought it was going to be this great game, and then it comes out, and it turns out that it's just boring as all hell. And I can tell you from firsthand that the game is just boring. I mean, I know the game has its defenders. I'm sure there are some hardcore PlayStation or even PC fanboys out there that would just defend it all day, all night. But there's just no denying the game's boring as shit. And I think also a lot of journalists out there are the ones who precipitated and fed into all the hyping up of this game. And now that it came out and it wasn't everything that they all hyped it up to be, that they're feeling kind of stupid about it, because right after the game first came out, a lot of journalists were trying to play it off like it was still pretty great game, even though it was pretty not. And then it slowly started after they started seeing user comments and fans, actual gamers who had played the game, not journalists, talking about the flaws of the game. They're like, yeah, well, maybe so, blah, blah, blah. So they kind of had to backpedal a little bit in time for their reviews to come out, because it was weird. Because I don't want to, put out any names or any certain websites out there, but there was one who was doing a daily update review in progress type of thing, where they were talking about the game a little bit here and there as they were playing it, and that was actually their review, or leading up to their review, I guess. And they were saying all these great things about it, and then the actual review came out and it sounded mediocre at best. So it felt like a little bit of backpedaling to me. But whatevs. Other than that, I haven't been doing a whole lot as far as my array of games I've been playing. Really looking forward to checking out Recore. I definitely hope to have a review up for you guys by launch day when Recore drops. But I have been playing a lot of Halo 5, as you know, or may not. Warzone Firefight was in beta for a little while there, and then was like a month ago or so it came out of beta and was just there for everybody. And I've been playing a lot of Firefight, which is just a ton of fun. For those who don't know, it's sort of like the horde mode of Halo. 5 rounds. The objectives are random. You never know exactly which objective you're going to get. Some are harder than others, but not only is the game mode fun to play, the rec packs are what keep you coming back to unlock more, weapons, whether they be uncommon, rare, ultra rare, legendary, and you really want to unlock these ultra rare and legendary weapons because they're permanent unlocks. A lot of the wrecks are actually one-time uses, like the vehicles and things, but a lot of the loadout weapons, like the assault rifles, the pistols, DMR, battle rifle, etc., are actually permanent unlocks. So you can unlock, ones with better scopes, silencers, better accuracy, longer range. And it's just really cool, and a good way to keep you wrapped into the game, trying to unlock all those better weapons to make you even better at Firefight, with your better weapons, or just Warzone in general, if that's your thing. So I've been playing a lot of that. And what's really cool is it seems like every time I win 5 matches in a row, I get 5 gold rec packs for free. So I think that's a thing. Like if you win 5 matches of Firefight in a row, then you get 5 gold rec packs for free. And that may sound easy, but keep in mind that each mission takes 20 to 30 minutes. So 5 victories, you're talking about roughly 2.5 hours. And that's if you win 5 missions in a row. Firefight is actually decently difficult. It's not easy. It's not super, super hard either, but it's not super easy. And if you're like me and you're just going into matchmaking by yourself, getting matched up with randoms, I've found that I usually win about every other match. So I'll go into Firefight, get a victory, then a failure, then a victory, then a failure. Now, if you have a steady group of friends that you can get together with, you'll probably have a lot more luck in getting, more victories in a row. So, but yeah, that's definitely a lot of fun. I've been spending a lot of time on that. And then, of course, Warframe. I've been playing the shit out of that, of course. And as you know, I was leading a clan called Tenno Incorporated, or Tenno Inc., which I recently left that clan in the hands of its founder and started my own clan called Jolan True. And the Alliance Phoenix Dynasty, which was under Tenno Inc., I took with me. All the clans left came with me. Rebooted Phoenix Dynasty under this new clan. We're going strong, and I think around 85 clans right now. Great jumping alliance. A lot of great players. And just been having a lot of fun. Lunaro just came out on console not too long ago, a few weeks, month ago, somewhere in there. Been playing a little bit of that. That's pretty fun. The Spectres of the Rail is finally going to be coming to console, hopefully this coming week. So I'll hopefully be able to talk about that on the next episode. And then, of course, the Vauban Prime Access is about to run out, and the new Prime Access will be coming up, which will bring to us Necros Prime, for any Necros fans out there, as well as a Tigris Prime, which I'm not sure if that's going to be better than the Sancti Tigris, so we'll have to kind of wait and see on that. And then Galatine Prime, which is absolutely huge, because Galatine by itself, the regular Galatine, is an amazing sword, and a Prime version of it, I can only imagine how beast that it's going to be. And then, being on console, we get Barrow Takir. We're like 3 visits behind PC. So I finally got my Prime Pressure Point this week, which, ups the damage of your melee weapons maxed out by 165%. Craziness. Been doing a lot of great damage with that. Been doing some resource farming. My bad. Actually ran Jordas Verdict for the first time a couple weeks ago. And I gotta say, it was pretty fun. It seems a lot more complicated to me than Law of Retribution, but just as fun. Both of them are kind of fun in their own way. If you're not into Arcwings at all, if you absolutely hate playing Arcwing, then you might not like JV. At least nowhere near as much as you'll like LOR, because there's no Arcwing in that. But I personally kind of like Arcwing a little bit. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I do enjoy it intermittently. So Jordan's Verdict was an interesting change of pace, and there's some pretty cool arcane enchantments that you can get from that, which you cannot get from Law of Retribution. So definitely worth checking out. And then, of course, the first time you beat any raid, you get the little things for your shoulders. There was one for normal difficulty on LOR, and another one for nightmare difficulty, and there's one for Jordan's Verdict as well. Unfortunately, there's no nightmare difficulty for Jordan's Verdict yet, and I really don't understand it, because the raid's been out for a while, months, and you figure they would have had a nightmare difficulty for it by now, but not so. So hopefully they'll eventually drop a nightmare difficulty for that. And yeah. Other than that, not too much going on. Like I said, looking forward to Recore. Gears of War 4, probably my most anticipated game of this year. Cannot wait to play Gears of War 4. Lots of new trailers came out recently showing off the campaign. All of them look super amazing. There was one of multiplayer that showed off a few new weapons like SMG, automatic shotgun, which is pretty cool. So if you haven't seen those, probably want to look those up, check those out. And yeah, it's been a pretty great episode. I hope you guys enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed talking. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Frag Radio.